Welcome to the Too Much Dip podcast, Super Bowl. I'm Dave. I'm a host. We got a big show today. Let's just jump right into it. Producing is Randy Trimbacki.
Hi, David.
Wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. The wire for the clock was underneath a bunch of other wires, so I couldn't put it up. Okay. But here it is now. I am refreshed after a long weekend in Austin. It was a fun time. But I'm here to talk sports. Not really, though.
You've had a great last 10 minutes.
Wow, dude.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So
we don't need to hear about it, man. You got into gross detail on circling back earlier about your.
I didn't go into.
You know what? Actually, hang on.
I didn't go into any detail.
Can you just tell the folks at home your last 7 meals?
Yeah. So I'll start off with, it was Friday lunch. I'll start with that. Perry's pork chop, and then via 313 pizza, Detroit style pizza. Then breakfast tacos, then Terry Black's barbecue, then Matt Rancho's, and then some leftovers of those things, and then Wingstop.
And then?
And then this lunch was leftover Wingstop.
This guy's body is not a temple.
Man, Terry Black's in a Mattles is that's a 1-2 punch.
This guy could not play for the Dallas Mavericks.
No. You would get traded in a heartbeat.
We would trade you no matter how.
I will say the Terry Black's was all of 1 or 2 bites of sausage and brisket. It was just more of a sampler, and I was like, I'll take all the leftovers for future meals. So I bought everything.
Future Meals is the name of our next pod. Here's a guy who's a future snack, Dylan.
I won't go into great detail on everything I ate over the weekend, but I had a good weekend.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that.
Watched a little ball, and I'm here to talk about it. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
What's for dinner, KJ?
Shouts to Hanks and Madison as your boy may have found his new favorite establishment for all your burgers, fries, chicken tenders, all of the like. I say all of those things because I did an unhinged order on Friday in which I took the approach of I'm going to add all these things to the cart. I'll eliminate them later on. Kind of forgot to do that. So when I picked up dinner for the fam, I had 3 entrees for myself, and that just became the weekend's menu. So shouts to the leftover weekend.
Would love to know what the weekend had to eat over the weekend.
Let's just go back to some of the, let me pull up the script from The Celebrity or The Idol, whatever it was called.
Oh God, a short-lived show.
Some of the dialogue.
Never watched it. Kind of grossed me out.
Which show?
The Idol?
The Idol.
We talked about
HBO show.
We talked about one particular scene. It was just who wrote this? What deviant wrote this shit? Ugh.
Oh man.
Dylan,
days.
Dylan peeled his hoodie, but he was rocking a Roback hoodie earlier, and I have to say it's a top 2 hoodie of all time.
It's a dope hoodie. Anytime it gets cool, I just instinctively reach for it. It's so dope. But it was a little bit warm in here, so I peeled it.
It's a thicker hoodie, but they have thin ones too.
It's a heavy boy.
It's not all hoodies though. Hey, Roback, you can get the hoodies, sure, but you can also get workout shirts, performance shirts, golf polos, of course, tech hats.
They recently launched some new athletic shorts, workout shorts with a liner in them that I haven't gotten yet, but I am itching to try them. They look dope.
There's a promo code attached to that. WASHED20, WASHED20. It's a one-time use code. Load your card up with all that stuff. 20% off. It's worth it. They also have officially licensed collegiate materials. I'm a proud owner of a University of Texas and no, I don't have a Baylor one. I've got an SMU one. It should have been
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that I really like. But they're great. So check it out. That's Roback. Use code WASHED20. Well, Super Bowl LIX came and went. It was over before you knew it.
Yes, it was. It was over in the first half. Just an absolute beatdown of Patrick Mahomes. Whereas Tom Brady refers to him during the entire broadcast, Patrick, which kind of annoyed me for some stupid reason.
I didn't like Tom last night. Tom got on my nerves a little bit last night.
Same.
Maybe it was me being mad that the game was terrible, but I thought Tom had kind of a
Often you hear the color commentator just use the first name of a player throughout an entire broadcast. It was a little bit weird. Anyway, it was a beatdown.
They do it with
Absolute beatdown.
Dak, but Dak is Dak, right?
Do they do it
It's
with
fewer
Dak?
syllables though.
It's true.
I don't know.
Hard to say. I'll be listening for it going forward.
Nobody calls him Tom though. Most of the time, like in a football context, they would always just say Brady, right?
Yeah, that's common. Sure.
If I was thinking about this earlier. Like, is it not weird that they don't get the Mister at all? And it almost seems uncomfortable if you were to see Dak or Tom. If you were to say, "Hey, Mr. Prescott," or "Hey, Mr. Brady," like that seems uncomfortable to even say. And obviously, coaches get the coach moniker, but like the first name thing, I guess it is a little out of place. But I liked Tom towards the end when he was talking about like admitting that he still thinks of the loss of the Giants, the first one. I thought that was a good note. Like he said, it's 17 years ago, and that one still, he doesn't wake up feeling that it believes it happened. And then he spoke to like personal experience about Patrick's, like, I did it. About Mahomes and their loss to the Bucks being like very comparative. But anyways, go on.
Well, they say the real Mamba mentality is the losses hurt more than the wins bring joy. That's true. That's true gamer shit right there. That's true dog mentality.
Losing feels worse than winning feels good.
Yeah, put differently. Yeah,
It's true.
Put worse, like it was better the first time.
No. In general, too, in sports, I feel like in high school, like
Dismissive.
no one ever refers to first names. You always go by your last name in like sports
Yeah.
across your whole life.
unless you're a white wide receiver, and then you're Tweeter.
Sure.
You were Tweeter. If you played high school football
After 2.
you were Tweeter. I knew a Tweeter. I was friends with the Tweeter. Had I stuck with it, I would have been competing for that Tweeter, but I didn't. Too small.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. Don't apologize. Not your fault. But thank you. So yeah, this thing I didn't. 3-score game going into half, right? 24-0.
24-0, believe.
That's a very, very generous 3-score game.
Yeah, that's
right?
max 3 scores. Three touchdowns plus 3 2-point conversions. So yeah.
I'm still thinking in my head like this will be like a 10-point game with like 6 minutes left. I didn't think that we were going to get a full comeback, but I thought we would get an interesting watch issued.
Yeah. I know that MVP of games like this almost always go to the quarterback unless the running back just goes crazy. So I don't have like a big issue with Hurts getting the MVP, but I would have loved to have seen like a collective defensive line game MVP for this game because they are the ones.
Horse trailer.
They're the ones who put this game away. It was an unbelievable performance by the Philadelphia defensive line. Like they kept reminding us all game, no blitzes, and they were just living in the backfield. What was it, 6-7 sacks, something like that, and a handful of hurries on top of that. Just an unbelievable performance. Sweat was the standout, I guess. If you had a single one guy out, it was probably Sweat. But just an insane. I knew they were good. I didn't know they were that good.
Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
You got to get you an Italian DC, Haas.
When your defensive line can get pressure like that without blitzing, it does. You can do whatever you want with your defense. I mean, not to discredit Vic Fangio, obviously called a hell of a game, but my God,
He is Fangio and then Spagnuolo, just a couple guys from the boot, just really hitting the right chords, calling the right plays, things of that nature. Yeah, that was insane. I always feel bad when there's your left tackle is just clearly getting it all day, and like everybody knows it. There's like 3 guys. I mean, really, like everybody but the Chiefs center, like they were just getting mauled. It was really, really bad. Mahomes was giving me flashbacks, not to give you flashbacks, but I will here. Quinn against Georgia, just kind of like pocket collapse.
the first games, specifically.
What are you
in
doing?
Austin. Yeah, you're right. When your quarterback is incredibly uncomfortable like that, there's not much you can do. Not much you can do at all. Yeah, that was an absolute dismantling of the Kansas City offense.
Was kind of trying to think if like had it been the Bills, how that would have looked differently. If you got Josh Allen, who's clearly a major threat to run I don't know if the outcome's any different, but and the Bills definitely aren't stopping Saquon.
I mean,
but
Mahomes isn't like the best takeoff and run guy, but as far as like being elusive in the pocket,
Yeah.
he's as good as it gets.
yeah, he's got good spidey senses.
He knows how to maneuver around the pocket and buy himself some time and just sidearm under some guy's arm and get 12 yards out of it.
Yeah. How you feeling, KJ?
I was trying to go back and look for an example of an MVP that may have fit the bill of what Dylan was referring to. And obviously the Bucks winning the Super Bowl versus the Chiefs, Brady was there and Brady was going to win that regardless, barring injury or like multiple picks. However, the Bucks' previous Super Bowl, back in my years of fandom, Dexter Jackson, safety, won the MVP of Super Bowl 37, and that was off of 2 turnovers, one that was returned for a touchdown. Saying all this to say that we were like 1 fumble recovery away from a Cooper DeJean like having a say about Super Bowl MVP, and I would have supported it. Like, not that he deserved it more than Hurts or whatever, but like they would have been like, hey, this guy 2 turnovers, 1 for a touchdown, like the defense deserves to get the nod for impacting the game the way they had. That was very similar when the Bucks won their Super Bowl with Brad Johnson at QB. I just would have liked to see how long that record of white defensive back Super Bowl MVP and who would have had that like Vegas $10 bet plus 200 million ticket.
Super Bowl 30. Larry Brown, former Cowboy great. 2 second, not a white guy, but
2 picks.
2 picks
but
in the
1
second
for
half.
Yeah.
Against the Steel Curtain.
The Broncos, Peyton Manning Super Bowl, obviously he did not have a great game. Von Miller. So there you go. Defensive end. Super Bowl MVP.
Is that the snap over the head?
I guess
Like
technically
first play of the game?
technically an outside linebacker, whatever. But you know what I mean.
It's fluid.
Yeah. Snap over the head for first snap. That was another one where it like completely fucked the first score of the game, like prop bet, because I think it was a safety for that Broncos.
Do
Maybe it
not
was the second
recall.
one.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the case.
Yeah.
Only because the lineman who snapped the ball was former Texas Tech lineman and locker mate Manny Ramirez. I remember watching that in earnest. The game. I think you brought up a good point about what you expected this game to look like late. And I feel like I've talked about this from time to time with regards to sports fandom and hope. And I'll come back to this later if we talk Mavericks at all. But as an observer of the Warriors, of LeBron, of these megastars, Brady, you kind of give Mahomes and Andy Reid, deservingly so, like more hope, like more credit in that hope tank, whatever that means, whether you're rooting against them and hoping your team wins, like you give them so much more stake of like, they're going to put something together. And it's almost like you're just like bracing to protect like that disappointment or like to put off that disappointment if you're rooting for them. And to y'all's, I think you and 90% of the guys out there who say big third down or count out how many possession games, when it went from 17 to 24, everyone probably still said, still 3 possession game.
100%.
This still could be a 3 possession game. Like, I don't know what the odds on 3 touchdowns, 3 2-point conversions consecutively are without giving up any more scores. But I thought it myself. And I was immediately like, this is the one you could afford to give up. It didn't cost you anything. Just get back out there. One recovered onside kick away from like people sitting back down and wondering like, oh, could we have something?
Yeah, the one thing that makes a comeback like that very difficult is when they don't have to bring any pressure and they can just sit back in coverage because you're not running the ball, and obviously their front 4 is getting home every time. So it's like you're not going to throw the ball deep because you're not going to have time to do it. So you're going to have to just dink and dunk, like chip away. And it was never going to happen. It was just wishful thinking. Everybody wants it. I was pulling for the Chiefs. Didn't really care that much, but like Was honestly like not looking forward to the game that much. But then as it's in, I started getting like mad that like I was like, dude, I'm fucking actually sitting home. My kid's letting me watch the game and it's not even worth watching.
Buddy,
I'm going to season 2 Breaking Bad in the 4th quarter.
I had the complete opposite experience in which I won't say I bricked the day, but I kind of bricked the day in timing of like preparing dinner, having everything set up to where I could watch this game in peace. And I will not pass blame elsewhere too harshly, but I definitely did handle both naps and get the kids out of the house. No big deal. However, I did find myself as the game was kicking off, like in the kitchen getting dinner ready, and then all hell breaking loose elsewhere, to the point where like when I finally got to engage with the game, 10-0 turned to 17-0. The DeJean interception for a touchdown happened like right at that moment. And I'm like, well, shit. So then I'm in a bitchy mood, like for the next 10 minutes, halftime starts. And it's one of those things like, all right, we're doing bad time. Let's get this over with. And I'm watching it on my phone. I'm like, this is stupid. And the game became so bad to where like I was just angry about the Chiefs losing as if I was rooting for them. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, this is not good at all. Like, what is this pressure I'm putting on myself? And I came back and I watched the rest of it. I'm like, all right, well, that Xavier Worthy catch was fucking that was awesome. That was great.
Hey, good for him.
This could happen. His stats were great.
Yeah, a couple of interesting notes here. Devontae Smith and Xavier Worthy, who each caught touchdown passes in the Super Bowl last night. Devontae Smith, the first Alabama drafted player to ever score a touchdown in a Super Bowl, which is more wild than the next one. Xavier Worthy, the first Longhorn to ever score drafted Longhorn to ever score a touchdown in a Super Bowl. Kind of nuts.
Just insane. Like, it makes me want to see the list of players that have scored and the schools, because
Which is
obviously
lengthy.
Brady and Mahomes, and so you got like Tennessee, Texas Tech, and Michigan as like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But then like Gronkowski went to Arizona. Travis Kelce went to Cincinnati. So like you think of these players who they were throwing it to all these years, Wes Welker, whatever, Kent State for Julian Edelman, like all these random ass schools.
And not one from Alabama, which is just nuts.
Or
Who I think they
Texas, that's
still
just
have
bizarre.
the most players in the NFL. They have currently have the most players in the NFL. I'm pretty sure.
Can't win a title with them. That's what I'm here to say.
Damn, that's kind of blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't know the Texas part, but
Yeah.
it makes sense when you start to think of the offensive contributors. Like, obviously defense is completely like turnovers accounted for, offensive linemen to have started, downs played. Like, both of those teams probably rank right up there with any other school. But yeah, fucking Jordan Shipley let us all down. Colt never got his chance. I don't know.
Yeah, we mentioned the Worthy touchdowns. I'm happy for him. Obviously a beatdown. That the last one, as cool as it was, didn't mean a whole lot for the game. I understand that, but dude had 187 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, balled out. Good for him.
Same thing with Hopkins. Granted, Hopkins is at the other end of career spectrum. Like, I found myself being happy for him to have that moment. Same thing for Brandon Graham. Granted, he got the win. I don't know what it is about like when you get to see players like that, like towards the end of their career, get that moment. So like Brandon Graham getting again to win the title, but going out on that level, like that's pretty cool. Like, I've never had any ill will versus him, even as a Cowboy observer, if you will. But for Hopkins, like, it's one of those where it's like, oh, this is your shot. You were in fucking purgatory forever with the Texans, and now you got so close and not happening.
Yeah, and also had a pretty critical drop in the first half. Like, that was kind
Made
of
up
like
for it.
I was like, yeah, that's probably, this isn't happening. Like, he finally gets out the pocket and gets one, and like the space. Somebody tweeted it was Barnwell or something, like the overhead view with the dots, whatever they call that. He had room. He had room to run there. But yeah,
Wasn't a perfect ball, but you gotta
catch that.
you gotta bring that one in.
Your D hop.
Yeah.
You gotta be glad and happy for Big Dom.
Of course, Big Dom being
I I don't know if you're Mario Karting it as often as others, and speaking of myself, he's the human embodiment of King Boo. If you want to Google that on your own, he is a spicy meatball that looked to be rolled in flour.
He is the Eagles security guy who is violently Italian.
Oh, okay.
You might know him from multiple altercations.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Positioned himself behind Nick Sirianni.
Got it.
Not
got
unlike the wife of Sark. Like every shot of Sirianni.
By the way, you know
You're
that's
kidding.
not
her.
That's not her.
I know.
We
I
got
know,
that wrong.
I know.
I thought
I'm
it was
sorry.
her.
Is that like
I'm
their media
embarrassed.
person?
I think,
But
it's,
I'm
yeah,
positive
I
I've
think it's
seen
his-
both of them then.
I think it's his media coordinator for post games and shit.
She's egregious.
She knows exactly where to stand. But yeah, that's not L'Oreal.
And hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about her being back there.
Then here's why I've been confused by that so many times, because it's never. I never see her with anything other than like a coffee and a phone in her hand. Like when she's positioned there, like a purse, coffee, phone, like, and who cares what people bring to work? Don't care. But it's never like, you never see the elbow pull like, hey, you're going to this person next. And I haven't observed that. And I hyper fixate on these things, obviously. Whatever. Sorry, Mrs. Sark. My bad, L'Oreal. Anyways, King Boo. Fucking Big Dom from the moment that Sirianni walked on the field.
Oh, yeah.
To the moment the post game hit. And I don't think he understood his assignment is different in the Super Bowl. Because I don't know if y'all saw, like, confetti starts falling, whistle blows. He was a little bit too much Steve, name's escaping me, Wilkos. Like elbowing, trying to create room for Sirianni. And I'm like, dude, this is the Super Bowl. You've got 1 million media members from around the world. They're not listening to your big dumb ass, like fucking trying to elbow them out the way. It ain't going down like that.
King Boo sneaky goated.
Okay.
Fucking King Boo's a problem.
I didn't know King Boo's name until now.
I don't know if
but
I
it
did
makes
either.
a lot of sense. Boo, Ghost.
Randy got it. That was really a joke for Randy amongst the three, but yes.
We got to pull it up here for the folks at home so they can watch on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look, Jalen Hurts, first team all good guy.
I guess.
He was good, dude. He was. I never said that like he was average at best or anything, but
It was 6 years ago.
somebody in a group text, another one, not affiliated with this company really, posted that, and I was like, I did not expect to see that in here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Garrett. They said they shut down Saquon, and they're like, beat us, Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts did. Had some really great throws. So there you go.
I didn't really care who won that much, but I was going into the game. I was wanting the Chiefs to win, just because Eagles, NFC East, Cowboys rival, and all that stuff. As the game went on, I found myself pulling for the Eagles in a weird way. Wanting the Mahomes GOAT talk to kind of take a hit. I don't know why. Secondly, I was just imagining Jerry Jones' face during all this and what he's thinking and how and just I wanted him to hurt last night, and hopefully he did.
Well, I did, and I do, and that's all you get.
Jerry was the boy and let the boy watch. Is this the result that we weren't talking about last week when I asked, like, I don't know who to root for comfortably, and we talked about the tush push and all of that? This was kind of the outcome we didn't discuss because that was not really a factor. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a pivotal end of game circumstance like it was in the week prior, to where everybody's just, okay, we're doing this 4 plays in a row over and over, and it's just grinding out the game. Like, that at least helped me not like.
Yeah, I agree.
Winning.
I think they only ran it once, to my recollection. And when they ran the play, I don't know if you caught the note on Chris Jones after the play when he was on the sideline getting his neck rubbed down. He apparently got it bent. I don't know what happened. And shared a note that Chris Jones hates the play because what it does to his head and neck area every single time, which makes a lot of sense.
He's
Of course,
tall. Makes sense.
he's not the only one, of course, but that was interesting, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's for a D tackle. I don't know how many. He's like 6'6", right? 6'7". I mean, I feel like most D tackles, at least that they put in for that play, or at least a little bit more 6'3"-ish, 6'2"-ish, for whatever it matters. But I think in this situation, for leverage, for bend of the head and neck area, it probably makes a big deal.
What else? Did you get to? So you got to watch halftime on your phone? Excuse me.
I went back and watched it, but
Okay.
like live, I was watching it on my phone. I was proud of myself for spotting Serena, like from this big. So in the moment, I didn't catch it. Of course, I didn't see the Palestine flag. I understand nobody
missed
did,
that.
but it wasn't live. They didn't show it on camera.
She, I mean this in the most complimentary way. She's easy to pick out from a distance.
As somebody I dressed up as for Halloween, yeah, I could say I could spot her, but for sure. I'm not pulling that photo for the app. Sorry. Come back in Halloween
I
time.
got some questions I'd like to ask you after the show. Yeah, I did not know that there was a protest until honestly like a few hours ago. They do a really good
Yeah.
job of weeding that out, huh?
Yeah. I know where we're probably headed in terms of takes and evaluations of the performance. But can I say this before we get into like full blown, did you like it? I don't know why I become obsessed with like appreciating how like the portability of the stage or the mobility of the stage. Like the less obstructive and intrusive it is, like the more I'm like, good, you could still put on a good show without bringing out, I don't know, like Katy Perry's like huge ass lion always comes to mind, like these big ass huge set pieces. I'm like, all right, man. Like your part's important, but like unless you're Prince and you're putting your own logo on the field, like just get out there, do your bit. Give me some cool technology I haven't seen, but I don't need you rolling out there with like something in to where I'm like, man, it's going to take them 5,000 people to disassemble this fucking magic show and get off the field. I didn't think they had that problem. And I appreciated that.
I knew it was going to be great when he's just sitting there atop the Buick, the Grand National, and then you get the clown car effect of just all the dancers popping out of it. Yeah, I liked it. I like Kendrick. I'm not like a Kendrick super fan, but there's some of his older stuff that I know more of. I'm like, oh, I would love to heard that, but that's fine. Whatever.
I don't know where I saw it not tipped off, but I guess they asked at the press conference if GNX, his most recent album, was going to be present. I think the assumption was going to be that it's predominantly hits, but he was a part of last year's Super Bowl, correct? Was last year LA?
2 years ago.
Came out with the LA one, or 2 years ago. And so he did a lot of the older stuff then, or some of the older hits then. So, whatever. I enjoyed it. I also enjoy Kendrick and his line of work. If there was a Thug Plug playlist to be found with my name on it, you probably would find a considerable amount of Kendrick.
Dylan texted me like during the game. Was like, "Hey, just so you know," this is how I read it. It said, "Just so you know, I'm not watching this halftime show."
I told my dad not to watch it. He was like, I shared this on Strickland Back. He was like, "Who's a halftime performer?" I said, "Kendrick Lamar." "Who's that?" It's like, just go read a book during
K-Dot?
halftime, bud. You're not going to find this entertaining. I
Kung Fu Kenny?
promise you, my man.
Like, if that were the response, how fucking dumbfounded would you have been that he like hit you with a quick Google and like was acting as if he knew his catalog in response? Like,
yeah.
oh, I had no idea.
You're a liar.
He
What'd you
didn't play
guys
Money
think?
Trees.
What'd you guys think of the score bug on the?
What are
Hated
they
it.
doing?
What the fuck was that?
Hated
What
it.
are they doing?
That was the first thing I noticed as soon as it started. I could have made that in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was just.
Was it supposed to look vintage?
Why is that? Why did they debut a new one for this that looked so just like rudimentary and awful?
You don't wait to try new bits for the crown jewel?
Just
Like,
giant block letters KC and PHI. Just weird.
Yeah, it did not look good in my opinion. It didn't feel like a football bug. That fly box, it stunk. It stunk. I'll
Didn't
say
like
it.
it.
Too
Didn't like it.
minimalistic. Too big and too minimalistic.
It felt like somebody didn't include, like, didn't have a layer visible. Like when they're like making this shit in Photoshop, like they just hid a layer. Like there was a frame missing or something.
It looks like they
They
forgot
were
to.
missing like a ornate Mardi Gras banner around it. And then somebody's like, no, fuck that. Get rid of it. And they're like, there's no time. They're like, okay, then just hide that part.
See if
It's
you can
like
pull it up,
they
Randy.
forgot to design one, and then 10 minutes till the game started. Like, oh fuck, we got to put one together right now, and this is all they could
And they
do.
did it in Excel.
Yeah, it was so bizarre.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and it really does just look cheap. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird move.
I don't want to like, and this is not tinfoily and definitely not a political thought, but I am curious if I went back to look at the delegate count that Fox used, like whatever their score bug they use for counting delegates for the election. How similar was this layout visibly? Not saying it was intentional, but like, was this the national Fox preference to have something very simple for their viewers? This team, this number. None of that other bullshit. Like, did somebody make that comment and that's what you got? As we were, treated to a Hannity and Brent Baer ad, like right off top. Like there were 4 or 5 like reminders, like, hey, this is a part of Fox Nation networks, whatever.
We got to talk about this new Costner John on Fox Nation. What is it? Yellowstone to something else? Kind of looks dope. I don't know if it's like just like a Kevin Costner travel show, but
It does it.
Yellowstone
missed
to Yosemite. They ran
because
a
it's
commercial.
on their Fox like webcast show channel. Like it's not a show that you're going to be watching.
Yeah. I mean, all in all, like,
Were you surprised to
Not
see
great.
the feedback from the performance though?
no. I think
I was shocked that people didn't know what to expect. Like by this point, like you've known who the performer is. You could have just been like, yeah, it's not going to be for me. But like, I was shocked. So many people were like, what is this? Where's my performance?
Yeah. Kendrick appeals to, I don't know how to say it, like people that are really into hip hop, people that are probably really into the history of hip hop. Like he is like I will say, yeah. I mean, more so than Drake. He doesn't have the pop hits that transcend. You know what I'm saying? Like a Drake does. Like that Drake is unfortunately the comp here. But
Imagine Dragons could have come out and they could have done that one song together. That would have been it.
they did. He did do a song. He's got a song with Taylor Swift too.
That's true. He's done both of those at the Grammys, ironically, I think.
Yeah, and no, I knew this. I mean, I'm like, this is not for really anybody who's not really into hip hop. Like a casual hip hop person is not going to really be into this. Like you
could've
should
gotten-
know the Drake. You might have. I think most people, honestly, like probably just know him from the Drake beef at this point. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But there are
Like,
more
the
people who know
casual.
him from the Drake beef than from his catalog independently. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. And I think that to go back to that performance 2 years ago, even if you didn't know his part, you knew the Eminem parts, you knew the Snoop and Dre parts, like old white people would know those things. And I don't mean to say like individualized white, but like I think you either had to be young or affiliated with quote unquote the culture in some dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not meaning that you identify as a certain way, but like by age or by culture. And in this case, like you probably were catching 40% max of the audience. And I figured they were okay with this. And I'm sure, I don't think this is going to be a performance that's going to lead to them saying, never again are we doing this. But I guarantee at best you're going to get like fucking Shabuzi in 2 years. And in between now and then,
Boy, you're giving him a lot.
I know
of,
Morgan Wallen's getting a lot of fucking counterplay in response to a lot of this, but like I don't think it's him.
Is he?
But you're going to I don't know. It was trending, and a lot of it was just from people being like, "Oh, not surprised to see that people are waking up wishing they saw Morgan Wallen instead of Kendrick last night." Blah blah blah.
Has McCartney, Paul McCartney, ever done it?
Alive?
Ooh.
Yes.
But has he done the Super Bowl halftime? I can see him doing it soon.
I think he has.
Has he?
Why don't you look it up
He
there, Hoss?
definitely has.
Okay.
He definitely has.
Yeah, people
I
were
want to
like,
say within the last like 10 years.
I saw the take that we're going to get Post next year. Because Post is kind of.
No.
You don't think?
I don't think so.
He's a country artist now.
Oh, maybe he hasn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he has a wide ranging demographic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Not
I'm
many
sorry.
people would complain.
I'm
Post-
lost. Are you
Post-
saying whether or not Post would?
Post
I
Malone.
think Post would be more widely. Here's the thing: you're going to lose some of that same contingent I just talked about on that culture side. You're going to gain some, but you're going to lose some. It's going to shift.
He's got collabs, though. A lot of collabs with big artists.
But more than Kendrick for sure. But I don't know. It depends. If he puts out a show like Kendrick did with very few collabs coming out, Kendrick could have brought people out. Some might say should have. I think that's probably what people are missing more than anything is they miss their days of the Aerosmith, NSYNC, Britney Spears, like absolute clusterfuck of montage collabs.
Mm-hmm.
And this was not that.
Yeah.
People can't even say SZA's name.
As much as I like Samuel L. Jackson in the supporting role, like that was your big surprise. Serena kind of, but most people didn't notice it till after the fact. That's kind of a fun part of the Super Bowl is, oh my God, brought out so-and-so. Like a surprise entrant. Like you didn't really get that.
Yes. McCartney's Super Bowl in 2005.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry. Just to further cement the whole thought of like 2005 is 10 years ago forever.
Maybe we'll get Steely Dan.
I think we're going, what is it, Vegas or I don't know, whatever. Someone like Red Hot Chili Peppers is probably like on the horizon. Undead parts of Foo Fighters is probably on the horizon. But I think we're more likely destined for a jelly roll before we get another actual rapper.
You could just say the Foo Fighters. You don't have to know because obviously, like the Alive members will be the ones who perform.
Oh, they could do pocket.
I don't know.
Did y'all see AI Jimmy Johnson? By the way,
Yeah,
we didn't talk about.
that was bizarre, wasn't it?
Okay, here's a question: did you get the sense that like was this building towards
This is the end.
Jimmy's done?
Retirement?
Yeah,
That's what I was. Yeah, it was like that's the kind of tribute you give someone who's hanging it up, right?
yeah.
But he didn't.
No, he didn't hang it up.
He
Why
got
can't you just-
teary-eyed, and
why can't you
it's
just
weird
pull-
that both he and Terry both alluded to like when it's over for them.
It was over
I
years
just
ago
find
for
it
Terry.
funny that. Did you see the awards? Not awards. The like post-game speeches or whatever on their podium. I'd like to point out like great substantial podium, nothing like we saw in the college football playoffs where they were like telling players, "Hey, you can't come up here because of weight capacity." This was an actual stage. That was great. But yeah, Terry was not letting go of the mic, even though he was keeping rhythm with it.
He's terrible.
Come on, man.
Yeah, here's what Jimmy had said.
I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
That was him wrapping up the broadcast, kind of teary-eyed. So who knows?
We're doing too much with AI. That just pull old footage of the man. There's plenty of it out there.
Badass footage.
Yeah.
Like some of the most badass footage is Miami, early Dallas, or I guess just Dallas because it was all early because that footage, he was just sick, rocking the Apex jacket.
I was
Just
going to say,
perfect
that's the
hair.
problem. You can't get the fucking Apex logos out of the shot.
Ah.
Best hair in sports,
Oh
man.
my God, he's the GOAT. Favorite DFW coach ever.
I don't know. If that's the end for him, I really wish that ESPN would take a note from Fox and like, how come you aren't posing these questions to your panel stars? I don't know, Lee Corso at all, every episode. But you're forcing Jimmy and Terry on the biggest stage possible to like come to grips with their mortality. And I'm like, I don't need more Rob Gronkowski for sure, but it's probably time.
Yeah.
Do you want to quickly take a peek at next year's odds before we move off of Super Bowl? Way too early odds brought to you by those good folks over at DraftKings, whom we appreciate their support throughout this football season. Top odds going into 2025/6. Eagles lead the way, plus 550. Chiefs, Bills, Baltimore Ravens tied at plus 700. Lions, Niners, Bengals, Commies, and Packers close behind. I'm only reading this many names because you can Rudy this yourself and just keep looking for your name on the roster, or maybe a David Ruff looking for his name on the schedule. Because if I stop somewhere before number 15, your name ain't on it if you're the Dallas Cowboys, because they are down there at plus 6,000.
Is this supposed to be behind? Is this supposed to be a surprise for anyone that they're not anywhere near the top?
Well, let me tell you who's plus 4,000. So slightly more favored in Vegas odds. The Minnesota Vikings plus 4,000. Tied with them, your Chicago Bears at plus 4,000. There's more hope in the Windy City than there is in DFW.
I see the Jags at plus 10,000, KJ. What's up with that?
Well, I'm just, again, to win big, you got to live big. And so I appreciate that they were like, hey, how do we entice more money coming the Jags way? And I couldn't tell you half a roster right now. So I'm all for it.
Just wait till the boys pick up Myles Garrett. Then we'll see what these odds, how they look a little bit.
We need like two of those, 2 Myles Garretts, and I don't know, Cooper Kupp's out there. Debo's on the block.
Yeah, Debo wants out.
Boy, Debo's got too much wear and tear, right?
I don't know. We could get Kevontae Turpin y'all could get Kevontae Turpin for a better number, although he may be going to Tennessee. Browns, Titans, Giants, Saints, Jets, Panthers, Colts, Raiders, and then the Jags with the worst and longest odds to go to the Super Bowl.
Duval.
We don't have a GM. The GM has not been hired for the Jags. The offense coordinator was just hired. They still do not have a GM. That's why I have zero faith in where things are going.
So the rumor, the leak, the cool Rappaport leak on behalf of the Cowboys or for the Cowboys was that this is the big story yesterday morning. Cowboys front office has had internal discussions about potentially trading Micah Parsons, to which I say, thank you. Thank you for being a serious front office and actually considering, like, this might be something we do. Doesn't mean we want to, but it is something we should at least discuss, because that's what I think a good, normal front office would do, right? And, of course, it leaks the day of the Super Bowl, and everybody's freaking out. You got CD tweeting about it. Just insanity. But, yeah, I am not mad that they have actually considered this. They should have this consideration for all of their best players, just to talk about it. Like, that's not a bad thing to talk about inside of your football organization.
Do like professional sports teams usually not talk about trading like a star player?
Thank you, Randall. Thank you.
Is this a Mavericks joke?
Yeah.
It's 1,000% is an appropriate segue to say that here we are saying it's kind of ironic that one team did not discuss this internally.
As far as
the
players
other should be lauded for it.
Players in the NFL go, non-quarterbacks who could get like some serious draft capital and talent in exchange for. Micah Parsons has to be way the fuck up there. He's still very young. You gotta at least have a discussion. I would love to see him stay in Dallas.
And
but this is like a Herschel Walker has, maybe not that extreme, but they could get some serious draft capital for that guy. Serious, they could like really turn the tide in Dallas, but who knows?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like, I don't want him to leave.
Same. He's so much fun to watch,
and I don't think they're going. I don't think they're going to do anything other than wait till the exact, like the absolute last moment, and then pay him money that they could have, like, they're going to pay him after the market's already gone up. This is what they do with every star, right? And like they'll look back and be like, man, had we just done this like 6 months ago or a year ago, could have had him for less. This is how they operate. They're not very good at this. But I was happy to see CD quote tweet that basically calling out the front office, being like, we got to stop this. And that's great to see players do that. I imagine this is less Jerry, more Stephen Jones. I think Stephen's a real, like, anybody who thinks that he's going to come in after Jerry and be like an agent of change, I think is just wrong. I think he could be worse than Jerry. He seems like a real bonehead. So yeah, it's so funny. It's like, it's right on cue. How do we make this day? How do we make this about us a little bit? And we just leaked this. We throw out a little negotiating in the media. And here we are. Pathetic. Just pathetic by the organization.
Y'all aren't tired of this. Every year, top of the charts. I appreciate that the players realize that it's an annual just shit show. It's just weird, man.
CD just went through it.
Yeah.
He knows.
There's always somebody.
Those are your two best players. Your two best players are just openly being like, come on, man. That's so funny.
Tyron, whatever is next. Not Smith, whatever the replacement one was.
Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith. Didn't hear much about Tyron. Miss him dearly.
New York. Oh, A-Rod's out in New York.
Is that official? I know it's like all but done and going to happen. Doesn't matter to me.
Think so.
But, you know.
Think so.
Well, we can recap that when it's when that other nail hits. All right.
Wasn't great. Wasn't great, but you know what is great? Hello Fresh. Hello Fresh. With Hello Fresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on Hello Fresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Tired of figuring out what's for dinner night after night, especially on those busy weekdays? Get dinner done the easy way thanks to Hello Fresh. It's easy to find time to eat well with 50 wholesome, hassle-free meals to choose from each week delivered to your door. Man, we came in here last week ranting and raving about that old couscous.
Those meals went fast in my household, Dave.
I think we went 3-peat.
The chicken couscous meal, like you just said, was fire.
Couscous, hella fiber. I ate a lot of I had not had couscous up until that moment, and it hit, man. Their lineup of prep and bake meals come together with minimal mess and only 5 minutes of prep, so your oven does most of the work, not you. We're huge fans. Get up to 10 free meals and a free high-protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/bang10FM. That's bang10FM. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/bang10FM. That's bang10FM. America's #1 meal kit. All right. Any more Super Bowl, NFL, anything else?
Now starts the very long off season, Dave. No football for a minute.
Combine coming up.
200.
Yeah.
Got the combine next
Hold
month.
on. Football is back in March, boys. The XFL starts.
Ah, good point.
UFL, by the way, but yes.
Good try.
Is it not still the XFL?
never-
It's
Good
just
try,
part of
Bob.
the- I think
Yeah,
they-
no, it merged with the USFL. It's the UFL now, which begins, as you mentioned, March 28th.
You still got a friend on the Renegades?
He was on the Battlehawks last time I checked. St.
okay.
Louis.
Okay.
Todd Haley and AJ McCarron. I didn't think I knew like multiple players on them and a coach.
No,
out
I
there.
didn't.
I didn't think so either, except for I was trying to figure out how Nick Sirianni got into the league, and it was on Todd Haley's staff.
Oh yeah, we gotta give Sirianni his props.
Don't fire him. The guy's earned his due.
Yeah, they shouldn't fire
He deserves
Nick.
his job.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl.
Ryan Day was on the chopping block too.
That's true.
He probably still is.
Still
Knowing
fire
that
him.
fucking
I'm
group.
still okay with that one.
Oh God.
Punchability. There's still 1-2 faces in the world of football. On Sirianni, really quick. I don't know if we'd ever brought up the fact that 6'3".
Oh really?
We ever given him his due? He does not appear to be a 6'3" feller. He
You
does
just,
not also like walk around with the demeanor of a 6'3" feller.
You just thought you saw the vowel at the end of his name and thought like, oh, this guy's like 5'8". Just walks around like he's 6'4".
The scowl seems to be that more of a guy who's like upset with his lot in life. And this is a guy who played receiver, apparently, won some natties with whichever school it was. I don't know. Mount Union, Grand Valley, one of the two. But yeah, I wasn't familiar with his game.
Okay. Shout out to Nick, but not Big Dom.
Definitely not Big Tom.
Big Dom's doing a little much. So maybe go over to the association here. Been a big week in the National Basketball Association. Saturday, we had the debut of one Anthony Davis, the Ant-Man, the Brow,
Balled out.
street clothes.
I saw.
26, 16 boards, something like that, 3 blocks, brought the heat, whole crowd going crazy. Strained his abductor. It's otherwise known as your groin, I believe. It's down low, kind of where the quad hits the that lower abdomen. Of course, he'd missed some games, missed some time with LA due to the abdominal strain, and I'm not going to sit here and break down the sports science on how these are related, but you don't love it when you see a non-contact injury in the guy's first appearance in your team's jersey, since you just gave away the future of your franchise to get him. What you saw, though, in early doses was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You could almost, I mean, you could see it. You're like, holy shit, you're playing a Rockets team. Granted, they'd lost like 5 in a row. They didn't have their point guard, but they were
Good team. Well coached.
Good team.
Good team this year.
good team. Yeah, so now it's looking like they're doing like further, like they're doing an MRI, figure out. You're praying he doesn't need surgery. If it's a surgery thing, he probably is shut down until the postseason. That's if you make the postseason, if not the year. The scene in Dallas before the game was it made me happy to see people out there doing bits. The guys who had the coffin at the Dirk statue a few days prior came back out with the coffin, playing the Wiz Khalifa, what's his name, Paul Walker song. Yeah, but I have boots on the ground. Our shooters inside the stadium will let you know that if you had any kind of derogatory things on your shirt or signs toward the Mavs, towards any of the brass, it was confiscated or they made you cover it up.
Soft.
Real soft. Which is crazy because
as in you couldn't say fire Nico,
No.
the GM. You could not have that on your
No.
shirt.
No, it's interesting because the owner of the Mavs is one of Trump's biggest donors, and I thought he was the free speech guy, even though I know
Okay.
it's the Mavs and it's not a state entity. But that's just interesting. So yeah, nobody
Hearing that they,
booed AD. Nobody was booing the new guys. Max Christie. Everybody loves Max Christie. We're getting stoked about Max Christie. I'm getting stoked about Max Christie. He's a future starter in Dallas. I'll say it. But yeah, tough times.
He benefited from getting game 1 at Boston under his feet as a Maverick and getting a win there. AD didn't have that opportunity, but didn't need it. Came back. 2 things on AD really quickly. 1, no fouls in like 35 minutes or whatever, 35 plus minutes for a big to not have just some weird
Yeah.
going up for a rebound, weird like hand swat situation. Like tremendous to play that efficient of a game in the time that he did. But it is saddening to think like, come on, man, it's 2025. Like, get your Kegel game to right. You know,
Okay.
I know if you're like me, you're spending quite a bit of time on the abductor machine. Anytime you're hitting up the gym, and we should all, as men, like be comfortable. If you want to be snatched, get snatched. You can't do it without your abductors being right. So, 80s learned it the hard way. Get it.
So that was a possession where KJ took the shot,
Yeah.
missed, got the board, could have
Missed
kicked,
off the bottom
could have
of the
kicked it
rim.
out. Somebody wide open in the corner, put it back up again,
Got fouled.
got fouled, went to the free throw line,
Made 1 of 2.
1 of 2, trotting back
Got my
down
own
the court.
rebound.
Yeah, it's just
Dude said Kegel. Come on, bro.
Chicks dig it, right? That's how you pronounce it, huh?
So street clothes is back in street clothes.
yeah.
Filling
Sorry,
up
man.
that stat sheet with 6 rebounds and 1 point.
I mean,
Months.
You
is
could-
the problem.
you could not. You could. But this is about as bad of a PR thing for the Mavs front office. For Nico and Patrick Dumont, who is the governor,
Governor, yeah.
governor of the Mavericks. By the way, Randy, why don't you toss him up there, Haas? Dylan, first thoughts. This is going to have a quote on it. He gave it he spoke to the media, and I want to just get your initial thoughts on Patrick Dumont, just on a first glance here of him.
Oh, I'm just looking at the picture of him, or I'm looking at the quote?
Actually, I kind of just want I figured you might have some.
Yeah, I did not know what this guy looked like.
Does he look like a ball knower?
He does not.
Why?
No. He looks like
Legacy
he
bit.
played D2 football.
I think this picture is more he might be stacked. He might be like Tony Soprano, like just big shouldered guy. I don't know. This is about as flattering of a photo as you can find of him. And I'm not here to criticize his personal looks, but
I am. I can't get height anywhere.
Oh, man.
let me read his quote that he gave to, I believe, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. So this is, why did you trade Luka? Blah, blah, blah. If you look at the greats in the league, Jordan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, they worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win. If you don't have that, you shouldn't be part of the Dallas Mavericks. Now,
The implication being that Luka did not fit this requirement.
right. I will give him. No, I won't. Actually, I won't. He's getting a lot of heat for dropping Shaq in there because Shaq notoriously did not come into the season in shape. Like that was never his thing. He was never known as like a fucking guy who just took care of his body. Like he will even tell
Larry
you,
Bird
like,
Larry Bird was just out there fucking lifting weights. Yeah, right.
no, Larry Bird
Shooting
was like doing yard work.
Not, yeah, exactly.
Larry Bird was not saying. Look, I would look. Larry Bird mentality wise is up there with anybody. Jordan, Kobe.
I mean,
Larry
Luka
Bird.
must have really rubbed some people the wrong way in the front office. Like they flat out just didn't like the guy. Seems pretty clear.
It's
This
pretty
is-
crazy.
This is pretty like indirectly slanderous. you know?
It's insane.
Yeah.
And when Luka comes home, when he comes to Dallas in April with the Lakers, this guy has to be there. You cannot, him and Nico cannot hide. They need to sit right there and they need to own it. Because Nico did not go to the game Saturday, which I get it. Like a little bit, everybody was very emotional. Did KJ freeze? Oh, Jesus.
He's just being very
Sorry.
skeptical.
God,
sorry.
dude, I was like, sorry.
No. I had to follow up.
He's just not this guy doesn't know ball. Dylan, what do you think his background in basketball is?
I don't know.
Well, here's his background in basketball. He married into the Adelson family, who owns the Sands Casino, Sands Corporation, billionaires. And he married into that family. And years later, after working in finance and stuff, that family bought a basketball team, and now he gets to play basketball, man.
Are you fucking kidding?
No.
Like,
Ugh.
So
And he's okay. He and Nico cooked this up together.
I don't know. That's the thing. I get the thought that this is an all Nico, because Nico, say what you want about him working for Nike. He has been close to the game. He played the game. He knows the game, right? In theory. But this guy, he got this guy ultimately to sign off on it.
Yeah.
Because this guy does not know ball in any way whatsoever. And say what you want about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones knows football. He's been around football his entire life. And as maddening as he is, I'm so sick that we have to look at this guy, that this guy is the dude who's going to direct the future of this franchise. It's fucking gross.
You bring up Jerry, and I think it's a very easy and relatable comp. But one of the really heart crushing things I would say as a Dallas sports fan, I don't know why I always feel the need to qualify this. Not a Cowboys fan, but whatever. The Cowboys have always had an ownership identity. Until Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban aside, the other three teams for three franchises have always lacked that, minus whatever you want to say about like the Perot, Bush, maybe Tom Hicks. Like there's some like minor event or like periods where the other franchises had a person you could begin to think was responsible for things happening, that you could tie a name, a face, a personality to, some reasoning to. The Mavericks have had that for 20 plus years. And it seemed like all of that just went away, but Mark was still going to be your familiar guy. This was destructive for so many reasons, but as a Dallas sports fan, what are we in, 2 weeks now? Like feeling that part become familiar and become real, like you just lost your ability to connect with the franchise on a personal standpoint. Like fuck what happens on the court. During the bad Mavericks years, you still at least could form an opinion about the personality and direction of the team based on what you knew and believed about Mark Cuban. For better or worse, you no longer have that. And not only do you no longer have that, but like you've lost the hope of having it in a manner that you'll be happy about. Like, let's say Cooper Flagg is a Mav next year. Don't know. They win the lottery. Who gives a shit? Doesn't matter. Like a clear and away number one pick who's going to change the trajectory of a franchise. And the results are the exact same as when Luka's here. Like you get to the finals, conference finals, you get to the NBA finals, like in the first 5 years. I still don't think that connection will be at that level anytime soon.
No.
Like I don't know how it could be. I don't see how this works out in a manner in which like this person becomes an endearing figure to a full sports fandom. And then saying the shit he did after seeing that people were bringing fucking caskets to the stadium or arena just further emphasizes like he does not give a fuck.
Yeah. He is bringing like business. He is thinking he can bring like big corporate business guy thought process to owning a team. And it's like, dude.
Do you have the line about vacations? Sorry to cut you off, but I do want to expand on that quote to include that just briefly.
Yeah, let me pull it up. He said,
because sorry,
I gotta find it.
I do think it's
no, it's fine.
I've got it here. All right, so when talking about the running the Mavericks after his less than 6 years with Las Vegas Sands Corporation and talking about work ethic, I'm unwavering on this. This is who we want. The entire organization knows this. This is how I operate outside of basketball. This is the only way to be competitive and to win. If you want to take a vacation, don't do it with us. Which, let me back you up 5 sentences and remind you in which he was the financial officer of the Las Vegas Tourism and Hotel and Vacationing Company. Telling you, ironically, don't take a vacation with us.
This guy knows vacations quite well.
Like, this is the one thing you should be saying. If you're going to take a vacation, it better be at a Sands Court fucking hotel.
It's honestly like it's criminal. It's every time I look at it, it gets more and more sad. It's just even like, okay, yeah, he got injured, but like after that Saturday where you saw the fans come out and like get excited about AD, like to see like, okay, yeah, we're never ever going to forgive you for trading away our beautiful Slovenian boy. We'll never forgive you for that. But we're watching this product and yeah, he got hurt, but it looked really, really good on the floor. To 24 hours later doing this interview and giving this quote where you just like throw more shade at this guy that everybody loves. Everybody. Like, How do you not see that that's a bad idea? How? It's insane.
One more thing to add in their credit, whoever they might be, but like again, on the court product was good. We also got the headline. They were offering back money, refunds for anybody, season ticket holders who were like, I'm fed up. I don't want my season tickets. They're willing to do refunds for whatever remaining 20 games. Like they were willing to be like, I get it. This hurts. It's fine. Which I think goes a long way to like disarming people. You know, I don't think they announced the jersey buyback. Some teams have done that in the past, maybe in the NFL, but like they probably could have offered a Luka jersey buyback situation or like credit towards new jerseys if you want to bring it in. But short of doing that, like I felt like they did they were taking the right steps until this shit.
So the game on Saturday was at 2. We had T-ball at 2:30. So I'm watching the pregame on League Pass. The League Pass gives you like the home team's in-game production. So you're watching it as if you're there.
Like on mute, right? Or
Yeah,
not on
no,
mute,
no.
Like no announcers. You just get fucking
Yeah.
full
You get to hear
video.
the PA guy in there. And Rhodes is in there. And swear to God, we're watching it. They're doing intros. He goes, Dad, where's Luka?
Shut up.
And I told him, I go, buddy, he still plays. He's just on a different team now. He did not get upset. He wasn't like distraught. He doesn't know. But he asked me that. And I walked in. Alyssa was changing Sammy. And she heard him. And she looked at me. She's like, oh my God.
I can't believe he asked about him.
He goes, where's Luka?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was like a where's Luka? I can't find him on here, or like I didn't hear his name in intros because I don't think he was really. He just asked like, where's Luka? Because that's the only player he knows. He's not invested in the team. He has no clue. He just knows Luka because he has the shoes. And
Jeez, that's crushing.
But dude, I died.
It's not even my kid, and that makes me sad.
I was like, this motherfucker.
Had the same exact experience. But mine was let off because I don't usually have the TV on during like breakfast time. And I think my kid asked like, why are you watching basketball? And I was like, because they traded him. And I'm like, and Luka's the only person he knows. He has a friend named Luka, but he also has a jersey. And he wears it and he tells his friend he's wearing his Luka jersey all day long amongst a bunch of Giannis jerseys at school. And I'm like, this is about as close as I've gotten to like having to talk through death. This is weird. I'm not prepared to have like the catharticism or whatever, like the closure discussion, like with a kid at that age. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna step back a little bit. Doesn't matter. Dad's sad.
Yeah. Anyway,
God. I'm sorry. That's tough.
His first hit in T-ball, he kind of clipped the tee, and it was just a little dinky little grounder. His second one, he ripped one through the infield.
Hell yeah.
And he walked up to his mom afterward, and he goes, I smoked it.
Hell yeah.
He's been picking up lingo from me. I've been telling him.
I
Like,
smoked it.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Mama
did, bud.
pissed on that one.
Yeah, I didn't. Oh, man. Anyway, so yeah, that was Luka plays tonight. He's playing tonight. And
Is
I don't
this
know
his
if
first?
first game. I don't know if you saw the Mark Williams trade. Fell through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the Lakers had a deal they're going to bring a center to LA because they don't have a center. And he's a
Have they
lob
said who?
threat. What?
Who have they announced who? Which center? Because last I saw in my group text, Willie Cauley-Stein was like laughably being suggested, but like I don't think the realistic options are that much better. I think like Dwight Howard's one of the four names. Have the Lakers added a person?
I don't know. I threw out Trilly Cauley-Stein just as a
Yeah,
joke.
that's what I was saying. I saw that and I'm like, I know this is in jest, but is it?
But yeah, so they had they had the trade, and then like the guy failed, like has multiple issues. They failed his physical, and they rescinded the trade. And it was just the big Twitter joke was, "Oh, Mavericks probably wondering why they didn't know they couldn't do this." Blah blah blah. And yeah,
Yeah, the package had been open is the problem.
the Lakers aren't
last
going to be
thing on-
great. They're not going to be great. And like any dream I had of them, like taking down like an OKC or like a Rock, you know what I mean? Like there's Luka and 40-year-old LeBron. I hope to be wrong. I would love to see them makes a noise in the playoffs. But
I will watch it, unfortunately.
I will watch.
Really quick, Luka also, just to further be like, yeah, this is a fucking great dude. Dropped $500,000 for wildfire relief efforts and it's already like contributing towards like rebuilding of courts
What a
and
guy.
shit around LA. Signed it, your new neighbor, Luka Doncic.
Man, he's got a good team around him, I guess.
What a guy.
What a guy. All right. Well,
You guys ready to run it back?
Run it back.
Call it? And of course, that's the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Randy ate well over the weekend.
Maybe a little too well.
Big ups to King Boo getting a ring.
ooh.
Serena Williams is easy to pick out from a distance. Duval.
No, do it with the head.
Duval.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not good at it. Nick Sirianni is a sneaky 6'3", we think. AD needs to get his Kegel game right. Sorry about this next one. Dad, where's Luka? And finally, Rhodes smoked one in T-ball.
Yay.
And that concludes running back.
I can almost just see Rhodes going up to Alyssa and be like, did I hit a piss job like Brent Rooker?
I smoked it. All right. Well, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.